Hi, welcome to day 26 of our Bible in a Year reading. We are in Genesis 41 and 42 today. And Genesis 41 is about Pharaoh's dreams. Now, it had been over 2 years since Joseph had interpreted the dreams of the cupbearer and the baker. And the cupbearer is the one who was returned to his position, but he forgot Joseph. And so now Pharaoh has some dreams and no one can interpret it. But the cupbearer finally remembers Joseph in prison. And Joseph is given an opportunity. He's called out of prison and Pharaoh invites him to interpret his dream. What I really appreciate about Joseph and his character is how he continues to point to God. In the midst of all of the suffering that he's gone through and the injustice, he isn't trying to defend himself and his name. He stays true to God. And he says, I cannot do it, but God will give Pharaoh the answer he desires. And he gets the interpretation of the dream from God and is able to share it with Pharaoh and lets him know that 7 years of abundance are coming through the land of Egypt, followed by 7 years of famine. He shares strategy, and Pharaoh then says to him, since God has made all this known to you, there is no one so discerning and wise as you. You shall be in charge of my palace, and all the people are to submit to your orders. Only with respect to the throne will I be greater than you. I hereby put you in charge of the whole land of Egypt. So in a day, Joseph goes from prison to the palace to an incredible position within the kingdom of Egypt. But that doesn't come without suffering for Joseph. He went through intense suffering, intense injustice. He was 30 years old when he was put into this place of power. And if you remember when we first are introduced to him in Genesis, he's about 17. So that's 13 years of Joseph going through struggle and suffering and injustice and having to wrestle with that in his heart. And we hear the pain of that as he names his 2 boys. Manasseh is his first, and it says, it's because God has made me forget all my trouble and all my father's household. And then his second is called Ephraim, and it is because God has made me fruitful in the land of my suffering that he names him that. So he continues to give God glory for where he is. And God has been orchestrating redemption long before it became visible. And Joseph sees that now, and he's thankful for where he is. What stood out to you? Let's learn and grow in God's word together.